I am obviously super excited about this piece, and this is the current piece that I'm working on right now. So as you mentioned, most of the pieces that I work on, most of the commissions I get are 3 to 5 minute pieces. And so I'll find one text and I will explore some musical ideas, and I'm usually pretty efficient in my writing because most people don't want it to be like a 5.5 minute piece is actually a pretty long piece for choral music. But now with the opportunity to write a 20, 22, 25 minute piece, I have 5 movements mapped out, and I've been researching this. I've been wanting to do this project for a couple years now, and finally it's the time in my schedule, in my commissioning writing schedule, where I really get to dig into these texts. And what I'm enjoying about the process is I can really develop these ideas, whereas I might try to accomplish an idea in 8 measures and then move on. Well, I can expand that to 16 or 30 and develop that and have a little bit of an instrumental interlude and use the strings, maybe have a little bit longer introduction to a movement. And then what I'm really excited about is the fact that it's creatively exhausting sometimes to write so many smaller pieces. But what I'm loving is that I can take a little element, and actually the very first part that I wrote was an element of movement 4. And why would I write movement 4 first? Well, it's because there's this little musical motive that I want to be able to weave in movement 1, movement 2. And then when it appears fully in movement 4, you think, oh, you see the full picture. And then I get to expand that idea. So movement number 5 is going to have some mirroring elements that you heard in movement 1. And so just an opportunity to really tell a story, have this narrative that it doesn't have to be accomplished in 4 minutes. It could be 24 minutes. And to develop the musical ideas, tell the story, have the drama of the tension and the dissonance of the story. You know, every good story is going to have a conflict, but how is it going to be resolved? And then you already know, spoiler alert, I'm a sucker for a happy ending. So there will be, of course, a happy ending at the very end of the 5th movement, but there's going to be a journey and how we get there. And there's going to be just some rawness and some honesty too. Every piece that I write is a little snapshot of my life. And so when I write music of stillness, that's a snapshot of what I was experiencing at that time in my life, and what was I feeling, and why was I drawn to that text. And there was a little bit of loneliness, and you hear that there's a little bit of ache, but then there's also hope, and there's beauty, and then there's coming together. And when I write a fast, joyful piece, well, that's a fast, joyful, that's a snapshot of my life when things were great. And when I write Oh Love, well, maybe that was a snapshot of when, you know, I was kind of in a valley at that time, but it produced this dissonance, produced hope, and knowing that there will be no more tears, mourn shall tearless be. And so I feel like this extended work is a snapshot of, you know, the 6 months of what we're living in. And you know, maybe things were great in the beginning, but, you know, things kind of took a shift and caught all of us off guard, and we're really unsuspected. And how do we process that? And where does that leave us? And the hope that I have for us as humanity, and also the choral world. And I think all of those emotions that I've been feeling, that we've all been feeling, you know, it's kind of been like this. And all of that is going into this extended piece. And the piece will turn out better if the text is genuine and authentic to me. So if I try to write about something I know nothing about, being a fireman. I'm just thinking of this off the top of my head. Like I could write a piece about putting out a fire, but I'm not a fireman and I can imagine it, but it might sound kind of contrived. But if I write about something that I know about, being in the mountains, or the feeling that you have under the stars that we were talking about, or what it's like to take my kayak on the lake, or, these experiences, and how does that make me feel? And then that layered meaning, like, what does that river represent? Like, to me, those authentic texts, those authentic experiences, well, then that creates authentic music. And it's honest writing, those little snapshots of my life, like, oh, love, music of stillness. And when I am honest with the reality of where I am, and if I pour that out honestly in my music, well, then I think the singers feel that too. And that's when you start to have authentic experiences, because you get it. You feel it. There's something more than notes. We're not singing notes anymore. We're singing music. And then you're having authentic experiences because it reminds you of your grandma, or it reminds you of that time that you were in this beautiful place and this happened, with this memory. And then, you were sad, but now you feel hope. And then when you have an authentic experience as a singer, well, then the audience sees that. They hear that. They sense that. It is, you can't escape it in a performance. It's just so real in the air. And then that's the beauty. It's the magic. It's why you're all singers. You understand. You feel it when you sing pieces together and the orchestra is with you. To write music that will really serve the singers, but at the same time, I know if it comes from a truly authentic place, it will serve the singers best. And that's why I try to find topics too that aren't too specific. So I'm not going to write a topic about, I don't have a dog, but if I did, if I wrote a song about my dog, you'd think, well, that's nice, she has a dog, but I don't. But if I write a song about loyalty, or a song about camaraderie, or about friendship, or community, well, then that's something everybody can really come together and embrace and encourage one another in. And so it's both. It's for you, but it's coming from an authentic place for me as well.